Welcome to a new episode from a series of mythical creatures. You all heard of Cylinder Man, the tall man who comes out with all the horror movies. But have you heard of Cylinder Woman? Haki, Shaky, Sama. And who is the Japanese legend that talks about a woman who is 8 feet tall? I will tell the story in the eyes of a girl who lived through these events. My grandmother and grandmother used to live in a rural village in Japan. I live in another city, but my family used to send me special trips to see my grandfather and grandmother on a visit. I went to play in the park in front of the house. As I play, I heard a strange sound. The sound was coming from behind the garden fence. I turned to see the source of the sound, but my hat grabbed my attention directly at the fence. I thought that the hat was placed on the fence. And when I absorbed it, I found that the hat was behind the fence. It means that there is one standing the length of the fence. A glimpse into a vacuum that is between the two fences. A very long woman. And this voice was coming out of it. She was looking at me and taking out this sound. The thing that shocked me the most was its length along the fence. I said she could wear it with a heel or ride it on something clear this long. But she's still looking at me and making the voice for a long time. And then she went. Of course, I was very afraid, and I quickly returned to my grandfather's house and my grandmother. I met them sitting, I sat next to them, and I told them what had happened. But they did not care. Except when I imitated the sound that was issued. My grandfather quickly turned to me. He asked me questions. I did not know how to answer it, because of her abundance. Who is she? How? When? How long? Are you sure that this is the sound from it? And did you see it? After answering my grandfather's questions, he took the phone and went. My grandmother was scared. I said to my grandmother what happens. She told me that there are many children who have disappeared in the area without anyone meeting them. This is because of a woman's entity that shows and kidnaps children. His name is Haki Shaky Sama, and she said that after seeing her the children disappear after 3 days. I befriended. Is it done? Is over. I'm dying after 3 days. Then my grandfather came back with a woman named San. She told me to sit in my room from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning. And never get out of my room. She gave me a bucket with my hand. Abd said to the bathroom, don't go. Of course, I was a lot afraid. I saw the preparations they were settling in my room. They put on the edges of the room dishes full of salt. In the center of the room, a Buddhist idol. They covered the window with wallpaper and wrote Buddha's talismans and words on it. And they believed that the Buddha protected me from Haki Shaky Sama. Then they went out and I locked the door with the key. And I sat thinking about death then. Kidnapped by the tall woman. I turned on the TV to get the farthest thoughts out of my head. Witness until I slept. I woke up at 1 p.m. The sound of the windows of the window said. And we are definitely afraid of that air. Then he knocked on the door. When I came, I heard my grandfather say, if you are afraid, open me, sit with you. Of course, I'm very satisfied because I am afraid once. I just heard the woman's voice. And after that, I was sure that there was no serious voice. Then I prayed and claimed that this thing stopped. Actually, I went astray and claimed Lynn. I felt that the sound was gone. I decided to quietly open the door. I quickly ran to my grandmother and grandmother, who in turn installed me the car, and they called me to the airport and they told me, indeed, there are children who are able to escape from Haki Shaky Sama. But they never start entering Japan again. This is what I came back to my family, and I could not return to Japan even when my grandfather died. My grandfather was a writer and I will not enter Japan. I was annoyed that this thing made me not see my grandfather. Days after my grandfather died, my grandmother called and told me that she had contracted an illness. I said I must come immediately. It ended 10 years ago, and nothing happened to me, and it will not happen. My grandmother told me, well, I'm waiting for you, don't be late because I miss you so much. I was very happy, and I will finally go to Japan and visit my grandmother. Except suddenly, I heard that voice. This is the end of our story for today. I hope you like it. And don't forget to put down the video like and publish it to your friends and family, so they can enjoy the stories.